Alright, so for this first video, we're going to focus on getting our character in and movement, and I may split it up into several videos, depending on, we'll see how it goes. But we're going to focus on trying to get this first deliverable for the game done, which is your movement and your character setup. So you should have a blank project. I went through creating one and adding the PaperZD plugin in the previous video. If you already had like PaperZD enabled in your project and everything, just make sure you have a blank project. We're going to go into the content drawer to get out of this level because it is like killing our machine to create this big level and we do not need it. So we are going to go into content drawer, into the content folder, and we are going to go to let's see, oops, file. We're going to go up to file and new level. Now the difference between that and the content drawer is if we do a new level down here, it's just going to be black by default. If we do file new level, it gives us some options to choose from, which gives us kind of a nice little starter. So then I can do this basic option, which is going to already give us a platform to work with and the environment, so we don't have to set that up again. So again, that's file, new level. And then with this new level, we're going to need to save it because right now it's still the untitled level. So I'm going to click the save button, or Control S is going to save it in here, and we're going to name it something. I'm going to call this base map because for the RPG we are going to have a battle map as well. So I want to, or base level, or whatever you want to call that. So now it's saved and we have it accessible here. The next thing we want to do before we go any further is make sure that next time we start up this project that it starts up on this level and doesn't try to open that big massive untitled level again. So we're going to go to edit and project settings. And we're going to go into maps and modes on the left. And then for our editor startup map here where it says open world, we're going to change that to our base map we just made, and game default map also to base map. So both of those we're going to change so that it starts up on this one correctly. All right, so we already have a player start. If we hit play, it's just going to spawn our default camera, which is not really a player, and we can move around the space. So at least we have a space to experiment with, and we don't have to really like start from scratch, which is nice. So we're going to go into our content drawer and we're going to do a few things before we create our character. So the first thing we have to do before creating a character is actually get our, because we're doing a 2.5D. So in this case, like in a 3D game, we'd have like our model and our animations, right, that we need. For this game, we need our what's called a sprite sheet. So we need our animations all in order. Now, the thing that you want to look for in terms of this, let me pull up my example. So I do want you to find a sprite sheet that you can use. Now, if you think you'll use this just for like educational purposes and you're just going to use it right now, like just for learning, and you're not going to try to give it to anyone or publish it or put it on a website or anything, then you don't have to worry about copyright as much. But I do want you guys to practice being worried about copyright and royalty-free stuff. So we're going to look at a couple things on the internet. So if I come in here and I look for top-down sprite sheet, and we look at some of these assets that are in here. These ones are not great. Let's go graphics. All right, so let's say that like I want to get this guy. Look, he has all the animations. This is great. So something that you want to look for with the characters that you're going to get for this game is we are doing a 2.5D top down. What that means is they have to have 4 directional animation. So for every single animation, they need to have a right, a left, a forward, and a backwards. Now, if they have a forward and a backwards and just a right or just a left, that's fine because we can easily flip the right and left. But they do need to have a forwards, backwards, and at least one facing direction. So you can see this sprite sheet works perfectly because he has forward, he has side, and he has back for every single animation. So for walking, for idle, for running. So for every single animation that we're going to implement, we do need to have front, back, side, and idle. For the base game, we are going to implement an idle, a walk, or run, like depending on which one you want to use, and a jump. So we do need to have those in the base game. Now, if you want to have like attacks and other things, we will show how to kind of implement those in bonuses. But you do need to make sure your sprite sheet has an idle, a walk, and a run. It does not have to be this complicated. So this sprite sheet has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like 10 frames per each directional animation. You can literally have like 2 frames per each directional animation. So that's helpful if you want to experiment with building your own. So if you want to go somewhere like Piskel and also a sprite, you can download that for free. I'll have instructions if that's something that you want to do. But if you want to make one for yourself, know that you can just have a few animation, like a few frames. You don't have to have it super complicated. And you can make it any sort of size that you want, but you want to be consistent. So if you are getting them off the internet, you are going to get a consistent size. So this one, it will probably tell you if you come down, or it won't. Usually it tells you if it's like 32 pixels or like 8-bit or 16-bit. But I don't know if this one actually says anywhere. But we'll find out when we import it. But either way, like if you want to start with the character, just make sure that like all your enemies and everything are also consistent sizing. So for this, like if you're building your own, like either in A-Sprite or in Piskel, like this is a 32 by 32. If you wanted to do like 8-bit, you could do that. And it just makes your like drawings bigger, right? So 32 by 32 versus like if we do 8 and resize it, notice that's like way bigger, so less detail is needed. So if you want to have like you really enjoying the art side of game development and you want to experiment with this, like build some characters yourself, you can do really simple ones, 8-bit, 16-bit, 32, more complicated up to 64. You could even go higher if you're like a real artist and you like really want to like hand draw it out essentially instead of have it be pixel art. That's fine too. You can hand draw it. Everything we're going to do will work as long as you have the 4 directional animations. So you don't have to have it be super complicated. You don't have to have it be super long. You can have it be super complicated and you can have it be super long. But you have to, at minimum, have the 4 directions for walk, idle, and jump. So make sure that whatever you download, you have that. Now, talking about royalty. So like if I'm on here and I want to use this guy, I can look at here and it says download this item grants you royalty-free usage in unlimited products, and you can look at the license details. So essentially this one, if you download for free, you can use for anything. Because it's called royalty free. Royalty free means that like we could use it, we could publish it, and it would be fine as long as we're not just reselling the product itself, like we're using it as part of something, it's totally fine. If you look at other licensing, let's look at a couple of these, because I know some of them are different. So this one you buy, and it again grants you royalty free, but it's not free, like you do have to pay for it. I don't know if there's other examples of non-royalty free. Sometimes it might say that like credit is needed to be given, but you can use it. That means that you can use it in a published game, but you do need to give credit to the creator, like in a credit screen or something like that. Sometimes it says free for personal use, but you have to like pay for a professional license or commercial use, which means that you need to pay if you want to use it like for publication or things like that. So just pay attention to what you're using. Don't just like Google search an image and just download it and not know what the licensing requirements are, because this is a really important piece of game development and that we understand what we're using and who we need to attribute it to. I am mainly a programmer, so I use a lot of found assets for art because I'm not really heavy on the art side of things, and that's okay for personal projects. But again, we're making sure that we're owing like credit where it needs to be owed, and that we're not using things that we're not allowed to use. So this one would work great if you want to use it. CraftPix has a lot of them. You can look at itch.io, you can look at other places, or you can just build your own. It's totally up to you what you want to do. But before we move on to the next part with movement, make sure that you do have a 4-directional sprite sheet with idle, walk, and jump. And again, it doesn't have to be this complex, but make sure that you have one. And I'll probably cut this here and we'll go to the next video for movement.